Well, welcome everyone. Today I have a Path of Exile 2 currency making guide. Now looking behind me, I'm not trying to show off how much currency I have, but I want to show you guys that I have made a lot of currency in the past 1 week or two. And I have invested in Hemiko's Log, invested in Divines, Chaos Orbs, to show you guys I have a lot of currency saved up and I have been reinvesting in those. So over 1,000 of divines over here just in the demonstration. To give you guys a sneak peek of the method, one of the method I discovered, looking over here, look at those timeless jewels. I bought them for under 300 exalt and I was making over 70 or 100 exalt in the past like 10 minutes. So this pretty good discovery made me so much exalt. I was actually dumping it everywhere. It was actually incredible. But the method has gotten a little saturated, but I still want to share the same method with you guys so you can kind of replicate it. And yes, we'll talk about how that is done. So look at this. I'm buying this particular timeless jewel for 290 exalt in the past and I sell it for 350, and I was doing that for like 10, 20, 30 timeless jewels, making hundreds of exalts every time. That was incredible, and I discovered this while I was testing the seed for you guys in the previous video. And you can see the history over here, selling for divines, selling for 3 divines, selling for 350 exalt, and there are some really good methods I want to share with you guys. I want to be really open to you guys and also give you guys the best information of how I was able to make 50 to 100 divine every day while I'm working on new videos and also new guides. This might sound a little interesting, but yes, there's a lot of method that doesn't involve fighting that can let you still make the currency. But in order to give you guys the best variation of the guide, I spent the past few days writing down everything I've learned. So there are 10 mega tips I want to teach you guys, and I think I wrote over 1,000 words. There's a lot of things I want to go through with you guys. I'm not even sure if I can finish all this in one video, so make sure you use the timestamps below. This particular guide is designed so no matter what kind of content you want to play, I want to provide you with something that you can make currency. And if you didn't know about this, that's great. If you know about this, hopefully this video will still give you insights of getting cheaper items, finding better items, or just knowing there's ways of making currency, which will help you enhance your gameplay. Okay, enough introduction. So for those of you that want the written guide, it is available in the links below. The video guide is here to enhance everything. Yeah, I'm selling items in the background as you can see. So what I want to show you guys is there's a lot of supporting videos and even like screenshots, and also links will be available to show you guys to help you understand the method. Let's go one step at a time. I want to list farming, mapping, and also looting items as one of the first methods of making currency. This is a very traditional method. So let's just go through the 10 methods as a summary. The first method we look at is actually traditional playing the game. You're farming, you're mapping, you're doing your loot, you're doing your trial rounds, you're farming juiced maps, you're doing atlas progression, you're killing bosses, getting divines, selling those items. Of course, the second way of making currency is through crafting. There's a lot of various ways of crafting, and myself is not the expert in crafting, but I have some beginner guides to get you guys started into crafting. And of course, there's tons of guides out there which I do recommend to have a look with the latest omens and also the desecration crafting. What I'm good at it, and you can see in the video what I'm good at with a lot of divines, is actually finding arbitrages and also finding ways of making more currency. It's just showing a full screen of divine. So I'm good at trading. I want to teach you guys about my method of trading, my secrets, my ways of filtering items, and looking for items that can be giving you more profit. And trading, of course, goes into flipping. This is when you use the exchange or you just find items for arbitrage. And there's a lot of ways in looking into those once you know how to filter your items. On top of that, I want to teach you guys how to use services. You can be selling services and making 10, 20 divines just simply playing the services and playing the farming for the mapping of the atlas. You can be selling carry rounds for the Ascension trials, which is less profitable now. In the first week, people were selling for 2 divine per Ascension trial and making 8 divines every hour. And that's when everyone's like so poor we don't even have 1 divine. There's act leveling, teaching people and helping people leveling. There's boss killing services. There's map runs you can sell. There's castaway runs. I'm paying 1 divine per run. Could you imagine that? I'll teach you guys how to maximize the castaway runs, how to sell them, how to buy them. There's untainted paradise, which people sell for experience runs, which was making a steady 1 divine per run. And this is out of the 5 people. Here, castaway runs makes about 3 to 6 divines each time, which is incredible. There's also gambling. There's a lot of gambling involved in the game. When I talk about gambling, I mean using randomness or luck, because you can be Val orbing into +1 level, additional sockets, additional enchantment. You can be desecration, you can be using omens, you can use your chaos, exiles, chance orbs, sanctification for a chance of rolling jackpot +1 skill level to something that you can't even get on items. So a lot of things about gambling, we'll talk about this. After that, once you have built enough currency, I want to talk to you about investing. I have invested in items over here, as you can see in the videos, and even here, I've invested into the Honeycomb Slog. I've invested into items like the Divine Orbs, investing into Orb of Annulment, and even the Omens, I've invested into those. Together with investing into Chaos Orbs, those are very profitable ways of getting more currency. And to follow our investment, of course, we want to forecast the economy. You're looking at the previous seasons of Path of Exile 2, and we can take reference from Path of Exile 1, items like Exalted Orbs and Chaos Orbs tend to fluctuate and have a projectile that you can follow, and you can kind of know how they're going. And then items like Perfect Jewelers and items will be falling down in price, which I'll teach you guys about, and this will help you to maintain your currency and make even more currency. Because if you're holding the right orbs or right items, over the time, you realize you're getting richer. And you can see in that video, so here I had, how many locks I had? So here I have 5 locks. I even had a video to tell you guys about the locks actually. I'm not sure if you guys watched it. So in that video, I had 5 logs and tons of divines. And then I started to sell some of my logs, making even more divine. So there's a lot of ways that you're actually making even more currency once you can predict and forecast the economy. And finally, there's NPCs that gives you free headhunters. Yes, this is a small jackpot. I even went back to this NPC. So there's an NPC that is guaranteed to sell unique items that have a chance of spawning and giving you uber unique items like the headhunter, which is a bonus. And if you haven't killed this NPC, or if you're playing a second character, definitely come over to this NPC to check out its headhunter potential. I'm saying this is a chance for a free headhunter, not like, guaranteed. There's also ways of getting headhunters or uber rare items from the ritual, which is highly recommended events of Atlas juicing. Now that we finished the summary, let's come over to the detail part. Oh boy, just the introduction took like 7 minutes. Could you imagine that? Now what you're going to notice is I'm not going to cover every part about farming, mapping and juicing. There's a lot of videos to that. I'm going to focus on one specific part about farming for the lineage support gems, which are selling for 10, 20 divines. To show you guys over here, and yes, all the links will be available. This is where I check the game data. This is where I check the economics of the game. And yes guys, I do have a finance major. This is why I like to do trading. You can see there's certain gems that is selling for 20 divine, there's certain gems selling for 10 divine, there's certain gems selling for a few divines. So the bigger question is, how do you actually farm those gems consistently, and what is needed to do that? So there are 3 types of Atlas types of the deadly boss you can find on the Atlas node. So coming over here. I know, I'm sure some of you might have heard of this, but if you haven't or have more information, that should help you a lot in deterministic finding those. Now, you can tell I haven't explored my Atlas too much, but you can see there's a deadly boss over here, Eye of the Storm. There is a deadly boss over here with Antitrust. This is a vault, and I do believe there was one more I just cleared earlier, so you don't get to see it. I haven't explored too much, but there's 3 types of different deadly bosses. And for each of them, there's a guaranteed loot table. In case you guys didn't know, you can see what those bosses drop. And depending on the item those bosses are guaranteed to drop, which is over here, some of the bosses will drop some very expensive support gems. And it is a guarantee to drop at least one of those lineage support gems when you fight the deadly boss. So how do you go ahead to do this? You want to play your Atlas, and you want to go to the surrounding of the boss nodes, follow the specific conditions of unlocking the boss nodes. Most of them require you to clear the nodes next to it. Sometimes it will require you to drop an idol. I have been looking into this item. It has been falling down in price. This idol is used to unlock the bosses. A lot of you may be like me. You're actually having difficulties in finding this idol, and then you can't proceed to the deadly boss, because the deadly boss sometimes requires you to have a key, right? So you can actually purchase that key. So coming over here, so I have to say, so this one requires the idol alongside the waypoint device to access its vault. So this one has to have an idol. Now, what you want to do is, there was another one clear. This is the other vault, the Val vault. Let's have a look. So what are we having here? We have the, one moment. So let's look at the name. So I'm trying to use the data information to look at the loot tables for this. So we have the Exile vault. Let's search for vault. Exile vault, sealed vault. I do believe this is a sealed vault, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Should be the sealed vault. So the sealed vault will require you to have idol, and I cleared one earlier, and I did purchase an idol because I couldn't find the idols out of the surrounding node. What my friend noticed is, if there's a surrounding node with a boss on it, it's highly likely to drop idols, but you might not find it. There are options, guys. You can buy the idol from the trade side. Yes, in-game trading allows you to buy idols. If you filter the price, sometimes it is actually cheaper to look into exalted orbs. And notice over here is 110 to buy one of those idols. Now, why would you want those idols? So we're using the example over here for the sealed vault. So if you go to the sealed vault with an idol, it's guaranteed to drop 3 of the supporting gems, one of the 3. Now, the other 2 doesn't worth as much, but over here, the bloodletting support gem, if we have a look here, it has fallen down a little bit in price. It is about 3 divine now. So 3 in 1 chance of getting this 3 divine item. So in sense, if you invest less than 1 divine in playing the vault, you have 3 in 1 chance of getting 3 divine. So as long as your investment of the idol is less than 1 divine, you're statistically making a profit. So this is how you want to understand which of the deadly boss you're fighting, what are the guaranteed items, and how to access those deadly boss. Yep. And over here, this during the write-up, it was 11 divine. Definitely has fallen down in price. People are finding out you can guarantee it and using idols. You can actually buy the idols. I think people just discover you can buy the idols. So I need to edit this. It is not 11 divine anymore. It is 3 divine. But the price of the key has dropped. So during the time I was writing this one, the price of the key was about 3 divine. And now it is, the price of the key is less than 1 divine. So a lot of little mechanics you can guarantee loot, and once you check the loot typos for your deadly boss, you can target farming certain deadly boss. So, for example, how do we spell desire? Oh boy, I'm terrible at spelling. So, let's look at this. Dallas desire. I want to see which boss drops this. Can you find? There you go. Dallas desire. Oh, this is a global lineage support. So some of those are not guaranteed jobs, while some of those other ones, like the bloodletting over here, is a guaranteed job. So you got to keep in mind, the global ones are much more rare. So this is also, you can see which of the lineage gems you can be looking for. And one additional advice in order to access to more of the deadly bosses is that you can be using a fast mapping method, just using tier 1 to tier 5 white maps, and you maximum your mobility skills. You just clear the maps as quickly as you can for the surrounding nodes all the way up to the next boss. So here is the next boss, right? I'm going to clear all the way here, and then clear the surrounding nodes with better maps. So the progressing nodes like there, I just use a lower tier map. And this is a common way people use, but there's a Grand Project Prosecutor tablet, which allows you to skip a lot of the nodes, which can save you a lot of time. I don't know if we should be able to search it here. Okay, yeah, we can search it here. It is around 75 exalt, and if you look into annulment, it's more expensive, of course. It's too annulment, definitely not worth it. So 75 exalt, look into this item because this allows you to have access to all the maps in range. And this is one of the methods people were speed farming the deadly bosses. They open the towers, then they quickly access everything in range. They just do those, then they jump to the next one. So there are a lot of ways in speed farming deadly bosses, which can be combined with other methods. Now we also have a number of previous guides. For example, farming the Chaos Trials or using an Aura bot can be great if you plan to fight monsters and also farming while you do it. Those videos will be available for you to have a look. It is from the previous league, but a lot of those are still working in the current league as well. So keep in mind, you can have a look for additional information. Now, let's come over to the next one. Hopefully I don't take too long for all of them. Now, I mentioned earlier, I'm not an expert in crafting, and I do plan to make a step-by-step guide to teach you guys how to craft energy shield boots, how to craft energy shield chest pieces, evasion, boots, evasion, chest pieces, a lot of those end-game crafting. So I do have a very good in-game crafting guide in terms of crafting your timeless jewel. If you haven't seen that, guys, this is the gameplay version of crafting the timeless jewel. We also have actual, over here, we have another guide. Where am I? We have two crafting guides for timeless jewel. One is gambling into 4 mods. The second one over here is gonna be target seed farming. So if you haven't seen this written guide, it comes with a video guide as well to teach you about crafting timeless jewels. I have some of the very powerful timeless jewels in the game, giving me tons of spirit. I swap my weapon, 700 and over 700 spirit, giving me tons of spirit reservation and just so many summons. And this makes the game super fun for any build. So if you haven't learned about this, definitely check it out. And you can be making a lot of divines in selling those crafted jewels. And for those of you that is new to Path of Exile 2 crafting, come over to this guide. It shall help you with basic crafting. So for this new season, I have focused on timeless jewel crafting, making 50, 10, 20 divines with each of the successful crafting. And because we covered that in another video, this is here as a placeholder for this particular method. Now, third method, trading with other players. Here we have a guide to teach you how to trade basics and how to gamble. But there's a lot of other ways in trading. And what I want to teach you over here is actually something I discovered, which is quite interesting. It's called sniping. And this is only available in Path of Exile 2 this particular season with the hideout trading. In the past, players have to message each other, right? And sometimes underlisted items were still protected. Now it is not the case. Because you list the item in the game, it gets locked with the NPC. Once the items are listed, it becomes locked and it can't change it. So for example, if I change this item, this is one of my crafted jewels, selling them a little high at the moment. I'll lower the price later. Now just to update you guys, while making this video, one of my timeless jewel I lowered down to 99 divine was actually just sold. So making timeless jewel can be very profitable. And if you haven't seen our previous video, this teaches you how exactly to search the great seed for timeless jewels with 2 times spirit reservation, and also the video explains in very detail. So make sure you do come over to this particular written guide. I try to explain as much as we can. For any build, you can craft timeless jewels for about 5 to 10 divine, and sometimes it doesn't cost that much divine. And once you crafted them correctly with the right seed, notice that those at 99 divines are actually selling. So make sure you check out those written guides, guys. I've spent hours writing them, making them detailed, and those are also available. If you haven't tried it, it's very deterministic and gives you a really good chance of finding the great seed, and then basic crafting with some luck will give you some of the best result for your build, or maybe making tons of divines. So yes, there's no joke, they're selling and they're really popular. Look at all the divines I made, and I just want to share with you guys that all the methods are working very well for this season for me. So definitely don't miss out. And before everyone catches up on how to make timeless jewels, you want to be on top of this one to make the best instead of those ones, to make a profit or to make your build much stronger. So continuing with that guide, I want to teach you guys about locking into the items and also changing the prices, and also what happens and how some people are sniping with cheaper items and also mispricing or just lower price items, which you can make a lot of profit. Now before we dive into the sniping part, do keep in mind sniping has been going on in Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2 non-stop in the history of the game. So I would say that if you're a person that don't want to take advantage of others, you might not want to do this, but do keep in mind a lot of veteran players do it all the time. Streamers run multiple apps, and also streamer runs live checks. Whenever a cheap item comes, they will snipe it, and the viewers also do it. So don't be too scared of doing it. And you're doing this to buy cheaper items, and those items get snatched up within seconds. So it's a fight between the bots, other players, and also how fast your computer loads. So let's have a look at this method. So if I change the price, eventually this item will get locked, and then you can't change it. If you accidentally placed Exalt instead of Divine, the item will poof, disappear super fast. And similarly, you can buy a lot of item instantly for very cheap. So let's have a look at this. This is one of the replays what happened. I was buying Undying Hate Timeless Juice so I can check the seed. I wasn't purposely flipping them, but I've noticed there's a massive market. After I finished buying them, I realized instead of buying for 350, I could be buying them for 200. even 150. People are selling them for random prices. People are selling them for 100. People are selling for 1 divine. People are selling for like 300. I was buying anything below 350 and then selling all of them for 350 Exalt a few days ago. I wanted to test this a little more, and I want to, of course, try to make some good currency, and I'll teach you guys the whole method. So this is connected in this video. So notice after I bought the Timeless Jewel, I will go and socket my gems and check the seed over here. So how did this happen? And you can see all the sold history. I'll quickly show you guys over here. And I noticed that people, actually this is a screenshot my friend sent to me, people misprice headhunters a lot. And here, while I was filtering for items, I noticed that there's a possibility of buying headhunters in Exalt. You might not be able to see this. Someone listed multiple headhunters in Exalt, and people make this mistake like 10 times a day. But a little unfortunate, there's bots, there's computers that snipe headhunters. But I'll teach you guys the method of flipping over here. This is a very basic sniping flipping method that is working simply because of the exchange. And I've been using this one to making over 10 divines in 10 minutes in that video you just saw with Timeless Jewel. So I'm going to use the Timeless Jewel example. I'm going to search for the Timeless Jewel, search this up, and the Timeless Jewel comes up, right? And firstly, we don't want it to be corrupted because there's more value in uncorrupted jewels. Secondly, look at this. Everyone's selling for 8 annulment, which is close to 3 divine. But if I filter by Exalt, sometimes it is a little cheaper. Oh no. Maybe it's a little cheaper. Now it's 170 per divine, so 3 is 550. So usually Exalt and also the prices are similar. So here is the trick. You see this button over here? You click open on the website, come back over here, go Albert Van Neumann, search, click open on website. So I just opened 2 instant trades. This is an instant buyout only trade. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the filters and I'm going to do 380. Because this is average price is 440, right? I'm going to do 380 and I've searched. Oh, one came up. I can get it. I can get it. Let's go. Oh, this is a this is an in person. So that we wanted to instant. In person, it's not going to work. So nothing comes up, right? I got excited. I was like, oh, why Exalt? So this is the method. You're going to click search, nothing. You're going to leave on active search. And similarly over here, you see it's 8 annulment. Let's say if you can definitely sell it for 7 annulment, right? So if I list this one for 6 annulment, there's nothing. I click active search. Let's have a look at what happens in this video when I did this. This video actually shows you the exact moment this happened. So I had this on active search while I was checking the seed on the jewels to see what they are. And I realized people under listing the price so much that if you turn on instant search, notice this item, I need to move my head. This is the same method I just told you. This item that was just listed 1 second ago pops up in my live feed. Everyone in the game is not going to know this because they don't have live search on. How do you have live search in the game, right? It's on the website. It like does a doom sound, notifies me something was listed. I searched. It's cheap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here to teleport. And if my character's in the hideout, I'll instantly teleport to the person. So here I'm just going through my items. I heard a doom. I go to the website, click on purchase, instantly teleports to the guy, buys the item for 60 Exalt under market value, and relist it, making 60 Exalt within 10 seconds. And this is how I made over 10 divines, sniping those items who undersold, and I resold them for 350 Exalt. And that was a few days ago when the price is still a bit high. You can see the price a bit lower. So what I've noticed is people start to use bots and ways to buy the underpriced items, so it might not be profitable after I share the method and also examples and especially the links to how to live search. This is something I'll do. Notice you can live search those. If I share those links with you guys, everyone's going to do it. Maybe 1 out of 100 of you is going to get this item for cheap. You still find it, trust me. But there'll be 100 of you try to get it after watching this video. I teach you how to fish. Now it's your time to find your own fish. You find the items you wanted. Let's say if I'm going for snipers. If I'm looking for a sniper skill rank 3, minimum 3 rank, you can see this is 125 divines. But if I open the website, oh, came up. Okay, I can show you. So, oh, this is gone. See, I was too slow because I had to click this and click that. And so notice I was a bit too slow. Someone else sniped this for 1 divine. It's also about 2.5 divine. And this shows you so many items get underlisted or just mismatching prices, and you can snipe them for cheap and sell them. And see, this is the example. I use the example for Undying Jew, and that's going to get saturated. Once I share this method, everyone and their friends going to do it. But once you know how to do the website and do the snapping, oh, this is one more. Can I show you guys? Oh, I'm too slow again. See, you have to be fast, and people start to use bots, which is annoying. But sometimes 1 out of 10, I still get it. In the past, I used to get 8 out of 10. That's how good it is. But more people knows, less chance you can get. But you can use the same method to live search for other items. And if you think that item's of value, you can do that. People do it for Headhunter. This is what I did for Headhunter. So, to show you guys over here. Headhunter? Oh yeah, see, I live search for the Headhunter. I'll show you guys what happened. And definitely don't try Headhunter, because there's bots everywhere. There's bots versus bots with Headhunters. So, Headhunter. So what happens with Headhunters, you search for Headhunter, and you go to filters. Notice it's like 62 divine. Oh, prices are falling. So you go to Exile, and you open up, oh, there is one. We're selling for, it's way too high. People are selling for that, and then you go to, maybe sometimes people, this is for chaos, you go for that, and then you just leave it down. And you're going to see a lot of people would just list those things for random prices. But trust me, it's very hard to snipe a Headhunter. I've tried it like 4 or 5 times. The bots are just way faster than me. So take it away from this. And this is how you find cheaper items. So you don't have to snipe items. It's maybe just the item you're looking for. You really need the upgrade for the skeleton snipers, as the example. Then you can do this. You don't technically have to get the cheapest price, but this will notify you when one item's listed in the game for instant purchase. And that method alone made me 10 divines while I wasn't even doing that properly. So, trading and also flipping. So over here, let's see. And one thing I do want to have a good example is you can do a lot of DIY self-filtering stashes. Let's say if there's items you have and you're not sure the price, and I'm sure you know, you just check them in and filter them for Tails, Exalt, and if you get a lot of message, or if you check them into the, into the management shot and you filter them directly, which is pretty good, this will allow you to actually filter them. But I think this is a more traditional method. I'm sure you guys know how to do this. So, how to use trade filters. We'll have a proper video guide on this because I think this is related to searching for proper gears. And once you know how to get cheaper gears through, filtering the items, the bigger way is to filter by price of item. Instead of having Exalt or equivalent, they will give you random stuff, you want to filter directly by Exalted Orbs or maybe by Divines and then set your budget. Sometimes you can do annulment, but best to do Exalt and also Divines for the most fair price. And then the waiting, I'll teach you guys in the future video. It's a little bit too long, this one. Now, flipping and also arbitrage. So what we just saw is how to find items for very cheap. Now, there is a lot of ways of finding, more profit as you purchase items for cheaper. So, you remember this thing I was trying to sell items like the Numerous Gaze? Sometimes people like convenience. This item was selling for around 70 to 80 Exalt. It is still around this price. But back then when Divine was about 80 or 90 Exalt, I was listing this item for above market price. So instead of listing for 70 Exalt or 80 Exalt, I listed for 1 Divine, which is worth 90 Exalt. And people were buying this because they might not have the change, or they just didn't search for Exalt, they searched for Divines. And they just buy it outright. You might be shocked. You're like, why don't they search for Exalt? They just don't care. They will just buy it. Trust me. I did that for Perfect Jewelers as well in the first 3 days. So instead of buying Perfect Jeweler for 50 Exalt, people will buy for 1 Divine if you list it for 1 Divine. And this item can be purchased from your hideout. So people would literally coming over to me to buy this item for 1 Divine when it's 70 Exalt. But of course, time has changed. Divine is now over 170 Exalt. So you might not want to do this now because it's not going to work. People are not that dumb. But you do something similar, that can still work. Similarly, I was buying up uncut level 20 gems for selling for 2 divines or exalts, and when the actual price of those items were a bit under 2 divine, and I was making 10 to 20 exalts each time. What I was doing is I was literally listing, buying those from the exchange, and then coming over here to list them in my stash for 2 divine. And people don't have to change, they just buy it up. Not all the rich people. So there's some really basic and simple flips you can do, and this is where the arbitrage comes in. You provide a convenience, or people don't search properly, and you make the profit. Again, once I share those methods, a lot of people do it. It won't be profitable, so you have to find your own. This is the hardest part about flipping. Now, for those of you who want to learn how to start up getting more capital, starting with nothing, I'll start with 5, 10, 20 exalt, and then flip into 5 times, 10, 100 times. We do have some video guide over here to teach you guys how to get started, how to find arbitrages, and how to do things. Those are covered in the previous seasons. And you can see those are like a few months ago, but I'm sure 90–80% of the time, those methods are still working. So feel free to have a look if you're interested in learning how to flip items, and also starting with nothing and making over 100 divines eventually. Takes a bit of practice. Okay, and let's keep going. Definitely a longer video than I thought. Hopefully you guys are using the timestamp. So, selling services and also map runs combines together. I'm not a person that sells those. I'm a person that trades and makes a lot of economy, and then I become the person that overpays for services. I might be paying for services in running to level up a character, or I might be paying for services in terms of gold run because I always need gold. Or maybe if I want to level up my character, I'll pay for a service to run Untainted Paradise. So in order to show you guys over here, I'll show you guys the TF Discord. I'm not saying this is the best one, this is a very big one. It is not official Discord, and you gotta be aware of scammers, of course. So coming over to the TF Discord, you come over to the Abuse Service section. And once you have registered with the Discord, you can be hosting different runs. The runs I'm looking for are the gold runs. I'm the purchaser of those runs. So you can see, if you find the, oh, did I show you? Look at this, too divine, too slow. Am I too slow? Oh, when you click, it doesn't register. You click again, it registers. It teleports me to the player. Let's see if we can snipe this item for 2 divine. Can we? And then it's gonna load out. My loading speed is very slow. Oh, I'm too slow. See, someone else just bought it before me. This is why I don't see it. But if I was a little faster, I could have purchased the item for you. See, that person just left. So if I wasn't making this video, I could have sniped this for 2 divine, sell it for like 2.5 divine. And that was free half a divine. Which is a lot of fun things to do. So back to service. We have had videos to teach you guys how to join TFT, and what I want to show you guys is how insanely profitable it is to sell your castaway runs and also your experience runs. I didn't check the Untainted Paradise. It was around 10 to 20 exalt per person, making close to 100 exalt per run, and people save up like 5 or 10 of those runs. What is most profitable in my opinion is the castaway runs. I'm buying those non-stop because I need the gold. So the castaway runs can be found on the Atlas, not this one, it's this one. And you can see people selling castaway runs for 5 divines for 5 runs, and sometimes 1 divine per run, and they invite 5 people. So if you find a castaway map, don't waste it, and you can share with your friends of course. But if you don't want to share with no one to share, you come over here and sell your runs. Learn how people post the runs, and the more expensive ones are selling for 1 divine per run. The cheaper ones are 100 to 120 exalt. The bigger difference over here is finding more pack size, finding more gold gain, and finally, delete the map, finding more pack size, and sometimes even finding a gold tower. This is a hidden secret. I met a few friends who use gold towers and give over 1 million gold. If you can advertise that you can give people 1 million gold plus, people will easily pay 1 to 1.5 divine for those runs. And each of the most maps will make you 5 plus divines if you do this correctly. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can be advertising for 100, 120 exalt, people will still buy it up. As long as you're using tier 15, pack size, gold increase maps, and sometimes even delivering them using the, I'll show you guys how to deliver them, using the diluted liquid greed is enough. And you deliver them with 3 of those anointed and then sell those runs, easily selling for 120 exalt per run per person. And that's 600 exalt for 5 persons. A lot of good gold can be found as you atlas and as you progress through the map. What you want to do is you combine this method with the previous method as you fly across the map looking for deadly bosses. You keep track of your towers. You also keep track of your castaway, your untended paradise, and then you come over to Discord like this one. I'll have an invite for you guys to join this Discord. Again, be careful of scammers. If you're selling, make sure you charge them first before you start the map. Sometimes people don't pay up. That's why hosts always charge first. So, if we combine those methods, now you have a very low maintenance profitable strategy. You go find the deadly bosses, you save your castle rounds, you save your untended paradise, and then you sell those rounds for multiple exalt per person, and this goes even higher. So when I was writing this one, they were charging 40 to 80 exalt. Now they're charging 1 divine. And people like me still pay up, because I make exalt and divine elsewhere. No, I become the rich guy who don't care about change and pay up here, because I want to save my time. So I'm the sucker that pays up for those runs. There's a lot of people like me, trust me. And likewise, you can be selling, a lot of rounds because people need experience, people need gold for respecting, and people need things. Oh, by the way, we could snipe this one guy, too late. So you have to be really on point. People are onto this, and people try to snipe as quickly as they can. And for really low price items, they have bots on those. There's also paid leech drums. So if you have a character that is quite tanky with good resistance, people will pay you to join their party, and then they give you free experience, some low tier items, but you have to agree to not pick up their items. So there is ways of looking for leech runs. If you look around, people will be posting those, look into different tabs, you get free experience, and people will carry you for tier 15 maps, and you level up super fast. Now, oh boy, we're almost there. This is one of my longest videos for sure. So number 7, gambling. Gambling is pretty big in the game. I have to be honest with you guys, I never had the luck of gambling. What I do know is my friend Royal NZ. Okay, let's go find Royal. So where are we? So timeless tree, let's go find Royal NZ POE 2. I strongly recommending checking him out. He's one of the best and most friendly Path of Exile 2 player I've met. He taught me so much. So this is one of his videos chancing the headhunters. He chanced a lot of headhunters. Okay, what did I do? Pressing random buttons. Okay. Here it is. He gets the headhunter belt, and he spams chance ops, and guess what happens? There, the scale comes. That was like 340 to 50 divine. Of course, he invested a lot in that. So gambling is a pretty hefty thing, and people do it a lot with different things. We'll briefly talk about a few, and there's a few I think that's really profitable. So the one you just saw is using chance ops and also the right base. I'll teach you guys 2 of them. You can search it up for the other ones if you're interested. It takes a bit of currency to get started. People are looking for stellar ops plus chance ops to get the Astramentus that used to be selling for about 50 divine in the previous league or 20 divine. Now it's down to 3 to 4 divine. So this is not the best way of finding the right chance op. What people like to do now is, you saw in the video, is heavy build plus chance op. And you can see he prepared a lot of heavy build. My friend bought this up likely very cheap in the start of the league, and then he bought the chance ops and then he spammed them. He made a few headhunters, he even corrupted them. Look at this current one. So, very profitable if you know what you're doing, and hunters are selling for about 65 to 70 divines, which is very, very big. Now, there is also ways of gambling with the NPCs over here. I haven't gambled with her because I like my gold. I never win with gambling, but she offers gambling. People used to be gambling amulets, and now I'm not sure if people are gambling for belts for headhunters. I haven't checked yet. But for those of you that want to look into the past data of gambling versus chance op, we have a video on this. So if you're interested to have a look, the video is taking a while to load, it will be available here for you to have a look. So that is gambling into Uber Uniques. Let's have a look at Val Ops. I'm sure you guys know Val Ops can give you additional sockets. If you have a look at this particular boots, it has 3 sockets. This is one of the most popular way in this season to be valving endgame items into multiple sockets. This boot drops with 2 sockets and can be valved into 3 sockets. And once it's crafted with 100% increased socket effect, it easily sells for 20 divines. And I'll show you guys over here. So if I go movement, usually they want at least 20 movement speed. Let's do 20. And I'll go socketed items. And then we're gonna go with equipment filter. It's very important for you to learn the filters, you see. Look at this. This is selling for 9 divine. It's only 25 movement speed. If I do this, it's selling for 15 divine. So there's a lot of ways in crafting and gambling, but I don't have the best knowledge yet to teach you guys about this. If you have a look on the topic of filtering, look at this filter we just set up. People are selling this one for 5, it's probably gone. See? Is it not gone? I can try to buy it. No, it's too late. So I'll deactivate those, but I'll have the filters ready for you guys. So if you're fast with your fingers, you can make a lot of profit just from snapping. Which is very fun, right? It's like a PvP. Whoever's fast, whoever's got better computer, better internet, goes to buy the cheapest item. Now, a very common way people to gamble with Val Ops is actually going for +1 or +1 to your skill gems. So, for example, over here, Sniper. So, the Sniper skill gems or the Summoning Spectres or the popular meta skills might be lightning arrows. I'm not sure what the Dead Eyes use, but I'm sure you guys know. So, the +1 and quality 20, 5-socketed, it's very cheap to do. So people do a gem that is not level 20 gem, then maybe even level 10 gem, and then they get it to 5 sockets with the perfect jewelers, which are much cheaper. Then a quality 20 to this item, which you can see the quality 20, and then they valve with corruption. I recommend valving while having this Omen of Corruption activated. It gives you a better chance of hitting the jackpot instead of doing nothing. This is very cheap at the moment, I think. Wasn't too expensive. I haven't checked the price, but you can easily get a lot. So combining with Val Ops, you get some really good results. Some of the bigger jackpots you can find while Val Opping is those new unique items that can hit over the threshold of current effect. For example, the Darkness belt. This belt, the one I'm using, has been valved to 118% instead of 100%. So this allows me to hit breakpoints to have even higher speed reservation. That's really good, right? And what that means is this item that usually doesn't sell for much. Let's have a look at this. So I'm using the helm version, so it is as a helmet and then socketed. So if I do 100%, the max roll, it is selling for 8 divine. Let's try 80%. 80% selling for 5 exalt. But let's say if you find those 80% uncorrupted ones, I think people buy them up too. So let's go with Miscellaneous, uncorrupted. 80% uncorrupted is selling for about 40 exalt. What people are doing is they are getting those and corrupting them to over 100%. And the ones I was buying is over 40 divine, which you look at that. So corrupting those belts is very basic. You just have the omens activated, you go up. If you hit the jackpot, there's 1 in 3 chance of changing things and something good happens, and there's 1 in something chance of hitting this one, and then there's another chance of going over 100%. But if you hit it, well, there's a lot of profit to be made. This is why people are buying those corrupted belts. So if you're someone that's been selling those belts, make sure you don't sell them too cheap. And, well, you can sell them too cheap actually. Oh, what if I buy a bunch of corrupted? We'll do a video on this. It's actually a pretty cool idea. I'll do a video on this to see the chances, but this is possible. You saw they go a lot in price. So, here's some information on corrupting. Similarly, the Boots of Ruler. Those are 2 examples. You can do a lot of uniques. This particular legging, this particular pants. Where are we? Gonna go uncorrupted. So the uncorrupted version sells for about 40 exalt. And even if like a high rolled one, like say 28%, is selling for about 2. Okay, let's go to trade filter again. Let's go exalt ops. Okay, 60 exalt. It's about 60 exalt uncorrupted. But if you allow for corruption, I'm trying to show you guys the difference here. If you allow for corruption, it's about 40 exalt. Very cheap, right? So what people have been doing is, if you go to the highest, 36%. I click on, oh, it doesn't come with exalt. It comes with divines only. So look at this, 36% out of the 30, it is selling for 50 divines. But guess what I was using? I bought this one for about 60 divines back then. Price has went up so much. So look at this item. It is, no, don't know this one. It's actually the one I had listed over here. I was like, might want this. Look at this one. It is rolling for 37%. This is like beyond 36%. There's only a few in the game that is listed. There's one for 80, one for 100, over 300. And the one I have is the one with 17% movement speed. Not 17, 13, I think. Yeah. Oh, 9. Did I have 9? I thought I had higher. Okay, only 9. I had even higher, I thought. So, those are ways of even valving for better items. We have a video guide on teaching you guys about this. There's a cheaper version of valving, there's a better version of valving. So, always when you're valving items, make sure you give it 20 quality, socket the item or socket the gem, and then you valve it. Don't do the other way around. Quality 20, socket, quality 20, valve. Now, there's another method of gambling. We won't touch about this too much, but there's some insanely powerful item that is created with OMOF certification. I'll show you guys over here. So we are going to search minion skills. So usually minion skills only rolls on 4 with the scepter, but you can get to 5 minion skills using certified items, and that sells for a lot. If we're searching for the rattling scepter, look at this, minimum price is 32 divined. This is what happens when you take an item like this one. Mine is signed as certified, so it's kind of ruined. I shouldn't have bought a certified one. So this is already certified. If you start with level 4, you can certify it with a percentage chance of hitting for 120% and getting this to level 5. And this item would have hit like 500 divine because of the big spirits we have. So those are some incredible ways of gambling and crafting, but do be careful that, you know, when you certify it, then you can't change it. It's like corruption. You can get +4 skills on amulets using this method. You can get +5 skills on minions using this method. So limitless possibilities, and the price of those items are over hundreds of divines. So if you have a great item, you want to make it stronger, and it is not certified already, I could have certified this if I knew, but I bought it as certified, which I kind of didn't know. So a certified item you buy is actually of lower value because it's already certified, it didn't hit the jackpot. It's like people valved it and corrupted, and then they sold it for you, then they go to the next one. So you take in the not successful ones. But I bought it for pretty cheap, so I'm happy with this weapon. I think I bought it for about 18, 17 divide for a really big spirit. And I'm already at, you know, max level with my snipers. I don't need +1. Almost there. So, investing and also market trend. I want to bring us to this video. Not this one, that's Royal's video. So in that video, I timestamped for you guys as well. I actually talk about getting locks. So this video was 7 days ago. When I was talking about buying logs, look at this. I literally talked about it. Let me see if I can do it. My currency is actually staying on exalted orbs. Okay, you guys can watch it, but what I was saying is I invested all my currencies into logs, into 5 logs. Back then I bought it for about 45 divine. And look, if you look at the price now of the logs, I sold a few for like over 100 divine. So if you look at the price now for the logs, it pretty much more than double the price. It is selling for 94 divine today. So I still kept a few logs, and each of those are like 90 divines. I kept 2, but I sold a few to flip around with currencies, and also getting new gears, of course. Look at this. Those are some of those items that will go up in price over the time. In some of my videos, I'll talk about it, and this is actually thanks to Royal. He told me about it. He told me to not buy the mirrors, actually buy the logs, which went up even further in value. Made me about over 250 divines in 1 week just buying those items. So, I kind of jumped forward a little bit. So, because number 8 and number 9 goes together, it's learning how to invest and also market trend. So, buying currency items that will go up in price like the logs is really good. Buying in-game gears or valved items or certified great items is also really good. I'm not saying this particular headhunter is the best one because I actually didn't know we need dexterity. I was going for the blood mage version. I have a valved with 40% maximum life and also 3 charm socket for my potential blood mage to come, but I haven't had chance to change into blood mage yet, so I'm selling this for now. So there's items that with higher end rolls tend to retain more value. So for those of you who want to know this particular site, this is part of Exile 2 POE Ninja, and you can see the price of items each day, and this also shows the volume of the items if you are present enough to be flipping those items depending on the value, which is next level. So the example I had over here is buying those Henniker's logs, and we talk about the number of those items now so that you can start to understand what items will go up in price very likely next week. Now, with any financial predictions, real life, Bitcoin, crypto, like money investment, even in POE, please be careful and apply your own judgment when you listen to other people's advice, even my advice. I'm not saying I know everything. I make a lot of currency, sometimes by luck, sometimes from friends. So, first of all, what I think it will go up in price is going to be the normal ops. I'm sure you guys have noticed this item was trading about 50k chaos volume. Now it's 3 times the volume. Everyone and their friend is using this item to buy items, and the price of this item just went up pretty highly. So it was about 4.5, then 4 for 1 divine, and now it's 3.5, now it's 3 for 1 divine. You almost hit 3 to 1 divine soon. So the price of this item went up from 30, 40 to 50 exalt now. And I have been buying, and you can see I've been selling my items in annulment ops. Why is that? Because again, my friend Royal told me it has the same chance of dropping divine ops and also annulment ops. So the chances of those 2 items dropping are the same. So this is extremely rare. It's just that people wasn't using it as much until now. And now people want to use it more. Because this can be combined with omens, can be combined with high-end crafting, and this can be combined with, can be desecration. This can be combined with a lot of things. And even the Omen of Light is the best combination, because Omen of Light, it uses Orb of Annulment, and Omen of Light is over like 2 divine. And this item is not even 1 divine. You see the huge difference over here? And this item is as rare as divine orbs. So in summary, next week, this is probably going to be 60 exalt or even 70 exalt, or maybe, half a divine. So annulment orbs is definitely something I'm getting into this week. Now, one item you should be careful in over-investing is perfect jewelers. Right now people want perfect jewelers a lot, especially on the weekend, because they don't get to play as much in the weekdays. A lot of us are older gamers, they work, they have family, so on the weekend they buy up perfect jewelers. You might be like, oh, this is a great item to invest in. But after 2 to 4 weeks from now, those items price half and half again. So don't buy too many of those. Just buy what you can and invest, don't hold on to them too much. Now, most stable currencies to hold. Divine Orbs is definitely one you want to hold as much as you can. Followed by that, we have the Perfect Exalt and also Perfect Chaos. Much better in retaining value. Exalt is going to inflate, so everything will cost more in Exalt. Omen of Light, Omen of Echo, I do recommend going for those. They're really good because people use them a lot, and you can see the volume of transaction. So we come over to Omens. I come over to volume. You can see Omen of Light, Omen of Echo, 70,000, 160,000. High transaction volume and high usage means these items tend to be popular and the value will retain. So that when price of divine goes up, those items will follow its price, while the exalt price will just kind of go down, right? Lineage gems. I think lineage gems price will stay high for a while until people have enough of them. Maybe in 2 to 4 weeks, the price will drop slightly. Omen of Weathering and Omen of Harmonizing Exaltation. Those 2 items are used for in-game crafting. A very high demand on those items. As you can see over here, the Omen of Harmonization, Weathering at the top of the volume chart, and they sell for 100 exalt. This one is almost 1 divine or higher than 1 divine. So those items are very interesting. People use it a lot, and this really depends on the day when people start crafting. So what I noticed is Omen of Harmonization, Exaltation have a huge spread. In the low times when Europeans and also Americans are sleeping, I'm from Australia so I can notice when they are sleeping, it sells for like 80 exalt. And on the high times when the other players wake up, they sell for 120 to 140 exalt. So if you were buying them cheap and then selling them for higher, you get a massive window of profit, sometimes even 30-40% profit. So I was buying them for 80-90 exalt, selling for 120 exalt, making some really good profits. I'll look into a breakdown. And if I have time, I make a weekly video to teach you guys about what orbs and things to invest in. I'm pretty good at this, and that I can say comfortably. Now, final one. There are random events and also random NPC encounters. I'll give you 2 examples that is pretty highlighted. This is a ritual that sells Headhunter. But unfortunately, the friend over here does not have enough deferral cost. That is the worst time to see that. So, a small tip over here. If you come over to your others points And if you come over to the ritual, where are we? So you always want to have this point. This is the first point you want to have. This is what my friend Roy told me as well. Your maps with ritual artists always have 4 ritual artists. And this will allow you to have, this will allow you to have more potential ritual triple points. If you hit yourself a jackpot like Headhunter, you can't defer it. Then you come over here and you can defer it. This is very important. So don't want to miss that. Now, similarly, I do want to highlight there's a particular random NPC, or not really random, there's an NPC called Elder Maddox. This NPC has reported in giving some uber unique items for free. So, he literally gives for free. It's a random selection of unique items that can spawn uber unique items, and he's a guaranteed NPC to be found in the game. What does this mean? So, if I come over here, you can only find him once, I believe, per character. I haven't leveled up a second character, but the first character defined him. So, Elder Maddox is located on this particular map, and once you find him, he will sell you random uniques. If you haven't cleared him, if your question mark is actually like hovering like this, notice this one is cleared, this gray route. If you haven't cleared him, it is white. Make sure you come over to him to see if he actually sells you a good unique item. I price check all the unique item he sells, and I think I made 5 Exile back then for selling a good unique item. So, some bonuses. There's like tiny ways of finding those, and if you find it, a good chance of a headhunter. So if you're like me, skipped him earlier in the stories and mapping, go back to him and see if you get yourself lucky in this. And make sure you have the right ritual passives over here so that you can have enough rituals, ritual points to defer your headhunter, or some people find lock, some people find mirrors in the ritual. So those are really good. Oh boy, that's a very long video. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't want to make one particular guide because I feel there's so many ways of making profit and making currency in the game. And if you don't believe me in making a lot of divines, I guess we have the screenshots to show that there's a lot of divines. But more than that, you can see that just investing in the locks I bought was making me 250 divines over the past week. And there's a lot of other things that made me a lot of divines. Not the right video, not the right one. So make sure you use the notes, look into the timestamps of this video to have a look. And all the related things we talk about is either available in these notes in terms of links, or maybe in the links below to have a look. And if you have any great tips that you want to share with everyone, you can leave it a message in the comments or directly message me on Discord. We can discuss ways of making profits. I can help you in perfecting your profit making. If you want to stay private, we don't have to share. But if you want to share, I can share as well with everyone and give you tons of credits, and thank you for sharing those. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. And for those of you who want to see the little replay clip, I basically showed that I was actually checking my timeless queue and I just sold so many in the past 10 minutes. I had to put this method in. So here notice I was checking my timeless queue. And yeah, just crazy amount of profits. And during this time, I noticed that people were underlisting headhunters. I tried to buy them, I was too slow. And finally, the divines, they're just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, not really try to brag, of course. Okay, thank you again for watching. If you find this dedicated video, which took me hours every day to prepare, helpful, please consider becoming a member, or just hit the like, hit the subscribe, and the notification, and leave a nice comment for this dedicated video. And I'll see you guys next time. Now, hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. Again, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube, especially our supporters, and also those of you guys who's been supporting me on Patreon as well. And we do have a new feature on the Majestic YouTube channel. If you click onto this, you can become a member. Yes, I've added this just recently, and this will allow you to have early access to videos that is posted a few hours or even half a day earlier if you want to watch those videos a little early. But yes, this will cost money. So please be aware the membership will cost money. And if you do want to watch videos normally, those videos will still be available after 6 to 12 hours, normally on the time we post those videos. And I'll be aiming to post at least one Path of Exile video a day. And this will be including guides, tips, news update, and also the latest tricks that is discovered on both the English and also Chinese community to keep you guys updated. And if you like those videos, make sure you leave a nice comment and also leave a like for those videos.
Can I help? Sure thing. What's new? What's new?
Now before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.